Is this thing on? Yes, of course it is. I know that. So, have you ever noticed that life is a series of solving problems or making excuses? And have you ever noticed that the ones that are typically solving problems over and because problems never go away, you just graduate to maybe a better class of problems, different ones. So, the ones that are constantly solving problems, correcting and recorrecting the course, those are the ones that typically have all the money, all the health, all the happiness, all the whatever, because they're always solving problems, right? It's just the way that it is. And then have you ever noticed on the flip side of that, the ones that are constantly making excuses, they're the ones that are broke, in debt, unhappy, stressed out, not very healthy, and all of these other things. It's because of the way people respond to problems. Either make excuses about it or just get in it and solve it. It's just part of life. It's always going to be a thing here. It's like the natural law of the universe. There's always going to be problems. So problems are there to help us get better. But a lot of times we use them to make us worse. But Tom, I'm broke. But Tom, I don't have any time. But Tom, I got kids. But Tom, and all these other things. Well, that's the excuse making side. You're the person that you might have these problems today, and you're going to have them tomorrow, and you're going to have them the day after tomorrow because you haven't shifted to being in the business of solving those problems. So it's like, instead of saying I can't afford something, I forbid that from my language. I will say, how can I afford? If I have a health thing coming up or a fitness goal or a health goal, I'm not making statements. I'm saying, how can I achieve that? What has to change inside of me to get X, Y, Z? I want to be able to give back more. A lot of you have bleeding hearts. You want to do more for charities. Start asking yourself instead of saying I don't give more because I don't have more. Instead of being a statement maker, excuse maker, start saying, what can I do to have more so I can give more? What has to change inside of me? That's the flip to switch is really that simple. It's like a first grade logical concept, but we don't really apply it much in our lives. So maybe it's time we do. What do you think about that? Need more health? Start asking yourself, what can I do to get healthier? And start going down that learning curve. A lot of people will actually come up with the excuse, well, I don't know how. Okay, well, instead of saying you don't know how, say, what can I do to learn how? What books do I need to read? What teachers do I need to find? What videos or online tutorials, if it's that simple, do I need to start checking out? What can I Google research? Who can I talk to? How can I learn? And start learning. So being a problem solver, it isn't just solving problems, it's learning. It's like being in love, having a love affair with learning so that you can learn how to solve problems. And then that never stops. And again, the moment that stops, that's when you start sliding backwards down that hill into death. So don't do that. It's that simple. And speaking of health and wealth and fitness, and maybe you don't like your boss very much, so you want to fire your boss. I had to figure those things out, my health, my financial situation, because I didn't have any income at one point. My health was going to hell in a handbasket, and I hated the thought of getting another job where I was just going to be ripped off again and screwed over and selling my time for money and not having the freedom that I wanted. So I started getting into the business of solving those problems instead of making excuses. You know what excuses do? It may be true. You look at your bank account. Yep, it's zero. That's why I can't do anything. Well, now you're justifying why you're not being a problem solver. You're doing the mental gymnastics in your head. When you come up with excuses and you're making statements, you're actually doing mental gymnastics in your head to rationalize it so that you make it easier to live with yourself so that you don't die of it. That's all it is. It's a big bad ego, a big bad self-absorbed ego trip. Because think about it. If you're making excuses, who is it for if not for yourself? You know it's not for the benefit of anybody else out there, so why would you make excuses? It's nothing but a big, bad, self-absorbed ego trip to justify and rationalize what you're doing to make it a little bit easier to live with yourself because it's all about you. So really at the root of all of it, if you put your ego in check and be a little bit more humble, ego, prideful will be torn down, humble will be lifted up, that sort of a thing, then you can finally have the humility to start making some corrections and recorrecting for the rest of your life because it never goes away. Things just progressively get better if you get into the business of solving problems. You get new problems, maybe better problems, and you start figuring out money problems and time problems because a lot of you say, I don't have any time, and you just leave it at that. Well, congratulations. You're going to be just like everyone else who has no time today or tomorrow because you're not in the business of solving that problem. And you're not in love with learning. So you're going to screw yourself over before anybody else could. And that's another thing that blows my mind. There's so many people out there that do want to rip you off, and you know it. But you're actually first in line in ripping yourself off before any of them in line could rip you off. You're going to do it first. You're going to do it for them, then they're going to do it too. And it makes no sense. Excuses, big bad ego trips that drive the excuses through the rationale behind them so that you can make it a little easier to live with yourself. It makes no sense to do any of that. It all goes hand in hand. So get some freaking humility, grow some balls or some big brass ovaries if you're a woman, and have the humility to lift yourself up. Because when you lift yourself up like that and you're solving problems, then that's good for everybody around you. And it's no longer all about you and a big bad self-absorbed ego trip, and now you make it about everybody in synergy, right? And that's a beautiful way to live when it's everybody collectively. All right, that's all I wanted to say. And if you love health and fitness like I do, and really good philosophical ideas like I do, because this is more of a philosophical video, and you want to learn how to make money on philosophy and health and fitness, get a hold of me. I've been doing it since August of 2007. Fired my boss. I don't have a job, don't want one. I travel, and I'm a problem solver, and I love it. I'm in love with learning. I have a serious love affair with learning. I'm still on the honeymoon, but if you like that kind of thing and you want to learn how to make money with it like I am doing, then reach out to me via private message on Facebook, and we will talk soon. So bye for now. And share this video. If you think it's a good video, and you know some people that might enjoy the messages in this video, then please feel free to share it. It could only help. Bye for now.